Okay, if you don't know who Socrates is, this video is for you. Okay, I'm going to tell you who Socrates, and at the end of this video, I hope, and uh, I would really like that if you are encouraged to pick up this book written by Plato, Last Days Socrates. Necessary, you don't really have to pick this book. I would highly encourage you to pick up the Apology written by Plato, and it's a very short book. You can read it. Okay. Now, who is Socrates? Okay, I'm not going to do this boring philosophical shit. Okay, you know what? It's sleepy. It's boring. We don't want to hear. I will get straight to the point. Okay, Socrates is the most important person in Western philosophy, or most important philosopher in Western philosophy. Not only that, I would go further to say Socrates is the most important philosopher in the whole world, and it will continue to be so. And there are lots of other important philosophers as well, but Socrates will remain number one alongside with Plato. Now, we cannot really talk about Socrates without talking about Plato. I will get to that, okay? But this video is mainly about Socrates. But to give you a little example of what is the relationship between Plato and Socrates, I will give a little analogy, okay? Let's think of Socrates as Gold D. Roger, right? Socrates is this pirate king, or was this pirate king, right? And Plato is Monkey D. Luffy, the child who look up to the pirate king and wants to become a pirate king himself one day, or at least become a good pirate. See, in One Piece, the Goldie Roger, the man who has everything, the wealth, the money, the power, and everything. And after that, after he get executed, the Luffy and every other New Age pirate, they go on to the Grand Line searching for the same thing, right? But in Socrates' case, it was not wealth and power, is none of that. In philosophy, after Socrates dead, it was the new philosophers or followers of Socrates. He didn't really like have followers like Jesus or Muhammad, but he had people who admired him, right? These people go out to find the meaning of life, like the question, like what is true, and like what is wisdom, what is a good government, those kind of things. Let me clarify that a little bit, right? So in One Piece, if you haven't watched One Piece, I recommend that too. It's a bit long, but it's great. You don't have to watch. You can read. That's great too. So in One Piece, this big bad pirate, right? Gold D. Roger, right? He is the pirate king, or king of the pirates, right? And he was sentenced to death by a world government, or executed by world government, just like Socrates was sentenced to death by Athenian government for corrupting the youth and proclaiming false god, whatever that means. Now think in terms of a very famous man, right? A very famous man who is very controversial and loved by many and hated by many as well, and who has a kind of a charisma the youth fall in love with, right? The youth admire this guy, and now what the government does? Execute him or send him to death. In a way, this is a real perfect case of ruling class and the elite silencing a guy who is controversial and who's outspoken, right? Now the silencing Socrates or Goldie Roger, right? We are really talking about Socrates, but I'm making a parallel here. So the silencing of Socrates, or the pirate king, or the king of philosopher, that 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 did not turn out well for the ruling class or the Athenians or for anybody. Because if anything, you don't kill a famous person. When you kill a famous person, this person get really, really, really famous. Because the Socrates, it's a meme. Socrates, the pirate king, it's a meme. It's a mind virus, and it's spread really fast, like really, really, really fast. It spread. You know, A man may die, nation may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. John F. Kennedy said that, but that's the exact same thing happened with Socrates. The Socrates died, the man did. Nation rise and fall. Athenian rise and fall. Many nations rise and fall. But Socrates' ideas still still lives on even today. I mean, come on. This book is like it was written. I'm going to check. It was like written in 400, 300 BC, and it's still fucking here. It's in my head. I have no right to know what's in this book. It's I why, how would I even get to this book? I don't even speak Greek, and English is not my first language, so it's came to me, and it's available for everybody. So the idea did not die. And Socrates, in his trial, in Apology, in this book, in Apology, Plato's Apology, he even warns about this one. He even warns about this one. This is what going to happen. I'm going to quote Socrates, what he said. I say, gentlemen, to those who voted to kill me, that vengeance will come upon you immediately after my death. A vengeance much harder to bear than that which you took in killing me. You did this in belief that you would avoid giving an account of your life, but I maintain quite opposite will happen to you. Though there will be more people to test you, whom I now held back, but you did not notice it. They will be more difficult to deal with as they will be younger and you will resent them more. Wow. Just wow. Just take that in for a moment. Okay, just take that in for a moment. What a fucking man. It's a mic drop moment. And it's fucking did. It's exactly what happened. Now, from the moment starting from that, the execution or the death of Socrates, starting from Plato, many young philosophers, the youth who has questioned, they set sail to Grand Line in search for truth. Not only that, not only they search for truth, they walk the same footstep that Socrates walked on. Every single one of them, okay, whether they like to admit or not, whether they are, what, I'm not trying to be like Socrates. I'm not, following a man. Yeah? Whether you agree or you disagree, it doesn't matter. All these philosophers, or at least many of them, walk the same footstep that Socrates walked on, follow the same way Socrates went. Okay, think about Plato, Aristotle. Not only them, like people like Friedrich Nietzsche, Karl Marx, Diogenes, and Niccolo Machiavelli. I'm sure many of these people will disagree. No, I hate Socratic method. Nietzsche would say, Socrates killed the free spirit or whatever. But it's unquestionable that they are in a way children of Socrates. Even Hannah Arendt did, Albert Camus. Not only that, not only these philosophers, right? Many other writers, right? For like George Orwell, even scientists like Carl Sagan, Richard Dawkins, Aldous Huxley, Simone de Beauvoir. I am sorry, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Come on, the list is goes on. The list is like a never-ending list, and these are the people who made a name for themselves. These are the quote unquote, a famous people. What about the other one who died without a name? What about the other people who died without a name, following the exact footsteps of Socrates? Every man and woman who took to the street, who protest against military government of Myanmar, against theocracy of Iran, against the Indonesian government, every man in America who fought against slavery, actually, Abraham Lincoln, many more. Knowingly or unknowingly, every single one of them walk this exact same footstep that Socrates walked on. Okay, and I truly believe that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It might be I'm making everything up in my mind. It could be that well. So, these every single one of them are real sons and daughters of Socrates, whether they like it or not. You know, Socrates is a man who have billions of children. Not only today, not only in 300 BCs, and Socrates have billions of children, and he will have billions of children even in the future. Of course, unless the theocracy or the totalitarianism win somehow the world over, it will not be happen. I like to have a positive, little bit positive a worldview on the world. I hope and I pray that people will fight back. You know, people will continue to walk on the steps of Socrates. Come on, that man like literally said, give me the damn fucking hemlock, right? Give me the fucking hemlock. I will drink it and I will die. Just like the woman on Iran said, you know what? I'm not going to cover my fucking hair. Shoot me. Yeah, that's Socrates. The woman who died in Iran is Socrates. There are like around, I think like 3,000 people, men and women, who died in Iran. They are Socrates. It See, the idea doesn't die. It's a meme. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Socrates, a rebel. I like to end this video by saying Socrates is within you and Socrates is everywhere. But there is an important thing. You have to ask the most fundamental question, not only in philosophy, in science, and in everyday life as well. The most fundamental question is why? Why? As long as we ask why, the Socrates will continue to live on through us, through you and me, and all those men and women who sacrificed their lives fighting theocracy, authoritarianism, and the men and women in North Korea, everywhere. Socrates is still lives, and he will continue to live so, and I hope so. So, yes, that's the video.